What happens when a Hollywood star, known for humility and humanity, faces a host who knows no boundaries in her provocations? This moment on Whoopi Goldberg's talk show became legendary, leaving viewers in shock and sparking heated discussions on social media. No one was prepared for what happened next. A sunny morning in New York. The studio of The View buzzes with anticipation. Bright spotlights flood the stage with warm light, and the live audience fills the seats, humming with excitement. Cameras hum, operators check angles, and producers in headsets scramble backstage, coordinating every move. On the host table sit water glasses, notes, and gleaming microphones. The audience, mostly women, holds signs with the name of today's guest, Keanu Reeves. Keanu arrives to promote his new film, the long-awaited sequel to a cult franchise where he plays the lead. His entrance sparks a wave of applause. The audience cheers, someone shouts his name, and Keanu's smile, as always, is warm but slightly shy. He's dressed in his signature style, black blazer, jeans, worn boots. His long hair is slightly tousled, his gaze sincere, almost innocent. The hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Sarah Haynes, are seated at the oval table. They smile, but there's a sharpness in Whoopi's eyes, as if she's already preparing her first jab. The atmosphere feels friendly. Whoopi, as the lead host, takes the floor, her voice loud and confident. "Keanu, we're so thrilled to have you. You know you're America's sweetheart, right?" she says, and the audience erupts in applause. Keanu nods, modestly lowering his gaze, and replies, "Thank you, that's really kind to hear." But there's something in her tone that makes the studio tense. Cameras zoom in on her face, and producers backstage exchange quick glances. Something is brewing. The interview starts innocently. Whoopi asks standard questions about the new film. "Tell us, what's it like returning to a role loved by millions?" Keanu speaks passionately about his work, mentioning how much the franchise means to him. He talks about doing his own stunts and the team's effort to create a deep story. The audience listens, rapt, and Sunny Hostin nods, clearly impressed by his energy. But Whoopi interrupts. Her smile sharpens, her voice turns biting. "Keanu, you're always so perfect, aren't you? I mean, this whole nice guy image, the charity, the humility. It can't all be real, right? Nobody's that perfect." The studio falls silent. The audience freezes. Someone laughs awkwardly. Joy Behar raises her eyebrows, and Sarah Haynes grabs her water glass, as if looking for something to do with her hands. Keanu tilts his head slightly, his smile intact but his eyes cautious. "I'm not perfect, Whoopi," he says quietly but firmly. "I'm just trying to be myself." His voice is calm, but there's a depth to it. The audience applauds, but Whoopi doesn't stop. She leans forward, her eyes narrowing. "Oh, come on, Keanu. You know what people say, this whole Saint Keanu thing is just marketing. You're playing the game to sell movie tickets. Be honest, it's PR, isn't it?" The studio goes still. The camera zooms in on Keanu's face. His jaw tightens slightly, but he remains composed. Sunny Hostin tries to intervene. "Whoopi, I think we all see Keanu's genuine." But Whoopi waves her off. No, Sunny, let's be real. We all love Keanu, but don't you think it's a bit much? All these stories about giving away money, riding the subway. It's staged, right?" Keanu leans back in his chair, his fingers lightly gripping the armrests. His gaze locks on Whoopi, but he doesn't look angry, more disappointed. "I don't know why you think that, Whoopi," he says, his voice still calm but tinged with weariness. "I do what I think is right. I'm not trying to fool anyone." The audience begins to whisper. Someone pulls out a phone to record the moment. Producers backstage look tense. One whispers into a headset, another flips through the script nervously. Joy Behar tries to defuse the situation. "Okay, let's talk about the movie, Keanu, tell us about the stunts." But Whoopi doesn't let the topic shift. She leans closer, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Keanu, you're not denying that this whole image is a way to dodge tough questions. Like, why don't you ever talk about politics? You could use your platform to make a difference, Not just star in action flicks. It's a low blow. The audience gasps. Someone in the back shouts, "Whoopi, enough!" Keanu sighs, his gaze dropping to the table as if gathering his thoughts. The camera catches the moment. His fingers tremble slightly, but he quickly clenches them to hide it. "I'm not dodging questions," he replies. "I just believe everyone has their own way of impacting the world. Mine is through my films, my work, how I treat people." Whoopi doesn't back down. "Oh, come on, Keanu. You know that's an excuse. You could be a voice for change, but instead, you play heroes in movies and let people think you're some kind of messiah. That's hypocritical, isn't it?" The word hypocritical hangs in the air like a slap. The studio is silent, save for the faint hum of cameras and the click of Sarah Haynes nervously adjusting her microphone. Keanu looks up, and there's something new in his eyes, a mix of pain and resolve. He speaks slowly, each word heavy. "You know, Whoopi, I've lost a lot in my life. I've lost people I loved. I know what pain is. And if I can make someone in this world smile, go to a movie, forget their problems for 2 hours, that's something. I'm not a messiah. I'm just a person." The studio is silent. A woman in the front row wipes away a tear. A man beside her shakes his head, visibly moved. Sunny Hostin nods, her eyes shining with empathy. But Whoopi presses on. "That's all very sweet, Keanu, but let's be honest. You're avoiding responsibility. You could do more, but it's easier to just be the nice guy, right?" Keanu clenches his fists, his voice trembling but still calm. "I'm not avoiding responsibility. I do what I can in my own way. And I don't think you have the right to judge me for it." His words are soft but cut through the studio like thunder. The audience erupts in applause, but Whoopi just smiles, as if she got the reaction she wanted. The studio of The View is thick with tension, heavy as August smog. Keanu Reeves' words, "I don't think you have the right to judge me," still linger in the air, and the audience's applause fades into an uneasy silence. Cameras hum, operators scramble to catch every gesture, every expression. Whoopi Goldberg leans back in her chair, her smile a mix of defiance and satisfaction. She clearly has no intention of backing down. "Oh, Keanu, don't be so sensitive," she says, her voice laced with sarcasm. "We're just talking here, right? People want to know the real you, not this image you've so carefully crafted." Her words hit like a slap, and the audience reacts instantly. Some gasp, others whisper to their neighbors, and a few in the back rows pull out phones to capture the moment that feels destined to make television history. Keanu sits still, his hands folded in his lap, but his fingers tremble slightly, the only hint of the storm within. He looks at Whoopi, his gaze deep and searching, as if trying to understand why she's so intent on digging into his soul. "I'm not crafting an image," he says, each word clear and deliberate. "I'm just living my life. And I don't understand why you're trying to make a show out of it." Sarah Haynes, who has been silent, tries to intervene, her voice shaky with awkwardness. "Okay, maybe let's get back to the movie? Keanu, tell us about the filming. That must have been tough, right?" But Whoopi cuts her off with a wave of her hand. "No, Sarah, let's not dodge reality. Keanu, you can't deny that this whole image is a way to avoid tough questions. Like, you use your tragedy to seem deeper. All these stories about your losses, your simple life. It's playing to the crowd, isn't it?" Her words cut like a knife. The studio freezes. A woman in the front row covers her mouth, her eyes glistening with tears. Joy Behar coughs awkwardly, and Sunny Hostin grabs her notes, as if searching for a way to defuse the situation. Producers backstage are in a panic. One whispers frantically into a headset, another signals operators to keep a close-up on Keanu. His face is a mask of calm, but faint lines around his eyes betray the effort to hold back pain. "You're talking about my losses?" His voice trembles, but he quickly steadies it. "You don't know what I've been through. And I don't use it to seem deeper. I'm just trying to be human." The audience erupts in applause, but Whoopi only smiles, as if she got the reaction she was fishing for. "Oh, Keanu, you're dodging again. You could use your platform to fight for something important. justice, rights, anything. But instead, you just make action movies and let people think you're a saint. Keanu stands. His movement is slow but deliberate, the sound of his boots clicking on the stage floor echoing like a gunshot in the silence. Cameras follow him, operators scrambling to keep up. The audience holds its breath. Someone whispers, "Is he leaving?" Whoopi raises her eyebrows, her smile fading. Joy Behar clutches the table, as if wanting to say something but unable to find the words. Sunny Hostin looks at Keanu with clear empathy, while Sarah Haynes mutters, "Oh God." Keanu stops at the edge of the stage, turns to Whoopi, and looks her straight in the eyes. When he speaks, his voice is soft but carries a force that makes the studio walls seem to tremble. "Whoopi, I didn't come here to be judged. I didn't come here for you to dig into my life or belittle what I do. I make movies because I believe art can heal. That it can give people hope. And if you think that's worthless, that's your problem, not mine." The studio erupts in applause, but Keanu raises a hand, asking for silence. He steps closer to the host's table, his eyes blazing. "I lost a daughter. I lost someone I loved. I know what hell is. And I don't let myself use that to seem deeper. I do what I can to make the world a little better. What about you? You sit here and use your platform to tear people down. Is that your legacy?" Whoopi opens her mouth to respond, but no words come. Her face pales, her smile gone. The audience is in shock. Some clap, others shout support for Keanu, while some sit in stunned silence. Producers backstage are in chaos. One signals for a close-up on Whoopi, but her confidence crumbles visibly. She tries to speak, but her voice is weak. "Keanu, I just wanted a real conversation." "This isn't a conversation." Keanu cuts her off. "This is an attack. And I won't be part of it." He turns to the audience, his gaze softening. "Thank you all for your support. I hope my movie brings you some joy. That's all I want." With that, he turns and walks off the stage, his steps echoing in the stunned silence. The studio explodes into chaos. Part of the audience gives a standing ovation. Someone shouts, "Keanu, we love you." Others sit in silence, visibly conflicted. Whoopi tries to regain control, her voice shaking as she says, "Okay, we'll be back after the break." But her words are lost in the noise. Sarah Haynes whispers something to Sunny Hostin. Joy Behar looks like she wants to disappear. Producers scramble, one yelling into a headset, "Cut to commercial, now!" Cameras focus on Keanu's empty chair, where his microphone still lies. On social media, the moment is already going viral. Clips of his speech spread with hashtags #Keanu Reeves, #The View, #TV History. Users share opinions. Some call Keanu a hero, others accuse Whoopi of cruelty. His line, "Is that your legacy?" is quoted thousands of times. The next day, the conflict on The View dominates headlines. Media outlets dissect every moment, from Whoopi's provocative questions to Keanu's powerful speech. Some praise his dignity and humanity, others criticize Whoopi for crossing a line. Social media is divided. Some argue Whoopi had a right to ask tough questions, others call her actions unacceptable. Keanu doesn't comment, but his new film gains massive attention, with ticket sales soaring. This moment entered television history as an example of a star standing up for their dignity without losing their humanity. But the question remains, was Whoopi right to push for a real conversation? Did Keanu do the right thing by walking off? What do you think of this conflict? Share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to catch more stories like this.